and poverty is not a matter of choice, but a matter of priority for me.
Nigeria plays key role as the world re-strategizes to fight hunger and poverty.
Its legacy reinforces our conviction that the development of the North is central to the prosperity of Nigeria.
Vice President Shettima unveils youth development strategy targets key sectors in driving economic transformation.
Approved during the Federal Executive Council meeting of 10th day of November 2024.
National Assembly reconvenes, set to reconsider medium-term expenditure framework 2025 to 2027 for approval. It's nice to have you join us tonight on the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. Adeola Kamiakere will join us from our Lagos Network Center, while Benny Adams will bring us up to speed on events in the business world. Benny, what do you have on the table tonight?
Well, better welfare for pensioners, talking about Nigerian pensioners, arguments at the National Assembly.
All right. And Badi Adele, of course, is handling sport tonight. Badi, what's the latest from the world of sport?
Well, Olajide, not the best of news as Nigeria's Edo Queens lost their semi-final match of the CAF Women's Champions League. We'll bring you details in the news.
All right. Many thanks, Badi. And remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Moving on, Nigeria has joined the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, an initiative just launched at the ongoing summit of the G20 leaders in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. President Bola Tinubu made the commitment while addressing the summit, saying the fight against hunger and poverty must be a top priority for the world. State House correspondent Musbaud and Wahab reports from Rio de Janeiro.
For the first time, President Bola Tinubu personally introduces First Lady Oluremi on the world stage. It was to the warm embrace of the host president, Luiz da Silva.
Your Highnesses,
The first session of the summit focused on a major concern of the world, poverty. From its national and global perspectives, the Brazilian presidency of the G20 acknowledges the increasing danger posed by poverty and even compounded by COVID-19.
Hunger and poverty is not the result of scarcity or natural phenomena. Hunger, as used to say the Brazilian geographer and scientist José de Castro, hunger is the biological expression of social evil.
Nigeria is one of the 19 guest countries this year, and for the second consecutive time under President Tinubu. Based on data from the National Bureau of Statistics, World Bank had projected that about 40% of Nigerians are estimated to live below the international poverty line by the end of 2024. And so, President Bola Tinubu could relate with the call for an all-inclusive growth.
the fight against hunger and poverty is not a matter of choice, but a matter of priority for me. Where do I get those helps? I have a very vibrant youth population, 70% below the age of 30. To all of us here, investment in education, investment in health, in investment in food security, cheaper financing, the risk in various African countries, putting us on a better and more progressive arrangement to prioritize food security and the agricultural reforms are necessary.
As he paints the picture of challenges confronting Africa, including insecurity, multi-dimensional poverty, and cases of out-of-school children, the Nigerian leader says his administration has embarked on aggressive reform to form bases for developmental programs, but then he calls on the world to extend timely support to Africa.
Support the continent. The neglect of Africa is a danger to the rest of humanity. Africa is crying for support. Thank you very much for listening.
From Rio de Janeiro, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
And back home, the Nigerian government has unveiled a comprehensive youth development strategy spanning multiple key sectors to drive the nation's economic transformation, as President Tinubu reaffirms that the development of northern Nigeria remains fundamental. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated these at a stakeholders roundtable on Northern Youth Development organized by the Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation in Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
15 years of existence, the Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation is striving to focus on the development of northern Nigeria. Fulfilling its strides in education, the foundation has provided opportunities to help in dialogue and other challenges. And now, the foundation is seeking solutions to youth restiveness.
We here, they say charity begins at home. This is home. So let's come together, keep away all sort of negative things. Nobody should be allowed to come in and build roadblocks towards our unity as North or as Christians or Muslims or whatever it is. We're one big family. God doesn't make mistakes when He brought us together as one people.
Let us be very frank. Let us come up with suggestions of what individuals can do, what traditional rulers can do. For me, maybe because of my relationship with the traditional rulers, I know what they can do at the local level. I am aware that today, a governor says something, local people will go to their traditional ruler to confirm whether what the governor has said is what is the truth.
Empowering the next generation, strategies for sustainable youth development in northern Nigeria is the theme of the meeting. And Vice President Kashim Shettima says the time for discussion has passed. It is time for action.
The late Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardona of Sokoto, was one of the towering giants on whose shoulders we have ascended as a nation. His legacy reinforces our conviction that the development of the North is central to the prosperity of Nigeria. His vision was clear. The North cannot progress in isolation, and Nigeria cannot prosper unless every part of this nation thrives.
With this roundtable engagement, the two-day event is expected to build an inclusive approach designed to ensure the voices of young people are heard and considered in the discussions. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
And to the National Assembly, President Tinubu has transmitted to the Senate the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper 2025 to 2027 for consideration and approval. It was among 5 other letters from the President read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, as plenary resumes after 2 weeks of break for oversight. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Vice President Kashim Shettima also joined the senators in chambers as they held a valedictory for the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah.
In line with constitutional provisions, the President seeks expeditious passage of the requests.
As the 2025 budget of the federal government of Nigeria will be prepared based on the parameters and fiscal assumptions approved during the Federal Executive Council meeting of 10th day of November 2024.
Aside the MTEF FSP, the other letters include the federal government's request for the implementation of the $2.2 billion external borrowing plan and an amendment to the National Social Investment Program Agency Act to make it data-driven. President Tinubu also requested the Senate to confirm appointments of 3 nominees as commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, as well as the Director General of the National Pension Commission. Meanwhile, Tuesday's plenary witnessed outpour of tributes in honor of the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, who died on the 26th of July 2024. Vice President Kashim Shettima and the family of the deceased were among those in attendance at the valedictory session.
His target also was to bring good legislation, empowerment and good governance to his constituents in particular and the country in general by sponsoring 15 motions and 14 bills between 2019 and 2024.
This is sunset at noon. We are saddled with a very difficult and painful responsibility of saying goodbye to one of our own.
Ifeanyi did a lot to win God's heart.
We are mourning the demise of our friend, our brother, our colleague, Senator Patrick Ifeanyi Ubah, CON.
On his departure, he will live on the lips and in the hearts of legions of people who became beneficiaries of his unrestricted benevolence.
Ifeanyi Ubah was a good man. Death is an inevitable destiny that is hanging on everyone's neck. We are all travelers on our journeys home. From where? From God. To where? To God. My condolences to his family, friends, and political associates.
Until his death, Senator Patrick Ifeanyi Ubah represented Anambra South from 2019. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has received an executive bill seeking to repeal and reenact the National Social Investment Program Agency Establishment Act. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikwen tells us more on resolutions at Tuesday's plenary.
The latest National Social Investment Program Agency Establishment Bill seeks to amend the Principal Act to make the National Social Register the primary targeting tool for the implementation of various social investment programs of the federal government.
This will ensure our social welfare programs are data-driven and implementation processes are transparent in delivering social protection benefits to vulnerable Nigerians.
President Tinubu's multiple requests for approval of the 2025 to 2027 medium-term expenditure framework, fiscal strategy paper, and new external borrowing plan were referred to relevant House committees for scrutiny. Meanwhile, the Minister of Agriculture and relevant sector players appeared before the House joint committees investigating the impact and risks of genetically modified organisms on food production and the population in Nigeria.
It's not to witch hunt anybody or to indict anybody, as the finding will be tabled before the House for appropriate parliamentarian process.
Let me state unequivocally that the government of Nigeria can never, and I repeat, can never do anything that will be injurious to the population.
We are from the Center for Food Safety and Agricultural Research. The mandate of our center is to investigate these things, to research those things.
Lawmakers resolved to set up a technical committee that will harmonize all submissions with a view to determine what is best for food security in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Mitari Ikwen, NTA News.
The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Adebayo Olawale Adun, described the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration as an outstanding structure of addressing the economic challenges facing Nigeria and the populace. This is part of the minister's address at the opening of 2024 National Council and Finance Economic Development Conference in Bauchi. Awal Abdullahi reports.
This convergence of commissioners of finance and accountant generals from the 36 states of the Federation here in Bauchi is a yearly national conference, a strategy of developing the country's financial and economic structures. With the theme, Fostering Economic Growth in Challenging Times, the conference dwelled more on the national fiscal framework.
It was a question of
charting a way, looking forward and making plans in order to, first of all, stabilize the economy and then get investments to increase the productivity of Nigeria, grow the economy, create jobs.
Since assuming office, my administration has prioritized physical discipline and strategic investment in key sectors. We have doubled our internally generated revenue manifold through innovative reforms, prudent management, and partnership with federal agencies.
Governor Bala Mohammed, while receiving the minister at the government house, assured his administration's support for the national economic target to be realized. In Bauchi, Awwal Abdullahi, NTA News.
Ministers of Trade, Investment and Industry alongside agencies under the ministry have pledged to position Nigeria as a prime global investment destination. This was at a performance review meeting in Abuja where stakeholders in trade, investment and industry committed to enhancing economic development through strategic partnerships and bold reforms to revive the nation's economy. The Central Delivery Coordinating Unit of the federal government is assisting the ministry, departments and agencies in tracking the implementation of policies, programs and projects. This is as the two ministers settle into the duty of delivering on investment, promotion, trade facilitation and industrial development.
And I have no doubt that this ministry is definitely poised to deliver the economy, the productivity, the competitiveness that the Nigerian economy so desires.
We can work hard enough to deliver, for country, to deliver for the president, to deliver for Nigerians. At the end of the day, we have made our own contribution to making sure that we move forward, we move ahead.
You're watching the Network News. More reports after this break. Encouraging small actions to collectively work towards a future where everyone has access to clean and safe toilet facilities was the focus of students at PE Junior Secondary School, Buhari, and the NNPC Foundation. They reiterated that celebrating World Toilet Day is not merely about toilets, but about advocating for human rights and public health, ultimately enhancing overall well-being and economic progress globally. Lydia Sampson reports.
Students and teachers in rural PE Junior Secondary School Buhari Area Council came together with NNPC Foundation to celebrate World Toilet Day. The message, inadequate sanitation leads to disease outbreaks and exacerbates gender inequality, especially for women and girls who face heightened risks without safe toilet facilities. Hajara Seidu Isa and Moses Ifeanyichukwu Moses' views underscores the significance of having access to safe and clean toilets as a matter of life and death.
World Toilet Day simply means keeping the toilets and the environment conducive for students and teachers to use it.
Sanitation is cleanliness, and they said cleanliness is next to godliness. If the toilet is clean, people will be free to use it instead of being afraid to go to the public toilet. It belongs that people have been going out to excrete on the ground.
For the Managing Director, NNPC Foundation, Emmanuela Arukwe, a subsidiary of NNPC Limited, it is critical to catch them young. She was represented.
This year's theme is Toilets, a Place for Peace. According to the World Health Organization, 80% of wastewater from human activities flows back into the ecosystem untreated, causing widespread environmental harm. Now, investing in sanitation infrastructure helps break this vicious cycle, ensuring cleaner water, healthier communities, and more sustainable planet.
It is our belief that as we celebrate and we commemorate the World Toilet Day, we are going to benefit immensely from it.
Despite the festivities, the celebration also served as a reminder of the ongoing challenges many rural schools face regarding inadequate toilet facilities. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has assured Nigerians that government has adopted necessary policies to position solid minerals as a source of national pride and pillar of growth for Nigeria's economy. This was at the ongoing mining week holding in Abuja with stakeholders from across the globe. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
It was a platform to review strides in Nigeria's mining industry in the past 1 year. The new sheriff in the sector, Dele Alake, is pleased that reforms introduced within the period are sanitizing the sector, creating room for capable investors.
To reduce speculation, therefore, and absentee miners, we put in place a new regime of rates that makes sure that you either use the license you have or you lose it.
The federal government has decided to privatize the foremost integrated steel plant at Ajokuta and its captive iron ore mine at Itakpe, and we have kickstarted the process to ensure the accomplishment of this objective above by signing a memorandum of understanding with the original builders of the plant.
Our vision also emphasizes local content, linking mining to broader economic diversification by prioritizing local sourcing, technology transfer, and skills development.
Mining investment brochure launched at the event provides roadmap of opportunities for investors with highlights on key reforms in the industry. Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, directs electricity consumers not to comply with instruction from the distribution companies asking them to pay for replacement of faulty or obsolete meters. The Commission, in a statement, insists that it is the responsibility of the distribution companies to replace faulty meter free of charge, provided that the fault is not caused by the customer. NERC also orders that no customer with a meter should be forcefully migrated to estimated billing on account of faulty and obsolete meter. The regulator urges customers to report cases of non-compliance to the order by any distribution company through its appropriate channels. President Bola Tinubu has redesignated the positions of two recently appointed officials in the State House Media and Communications team to enhance efficiency within the government's communication machinery. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, notes that Mr. Sunday Dare, who was Special Advisor on Public Communications and National Orientation, is now Special Advisor, Media and Public Communications. Similarly, Mr. Daniel Bwala, announced last week as Special Advisor, Media and Public Communications, is now Special Advisor, Policy Communication. This appointment, Mr. Onanuga states, shows that all the three special advisors will collectively serve as spokespersons for the government for effective and consistent communication of government policies, decisions and engagements. The use of improvised explosive device by criminals is a major obstacle to ongoing counter-insurgency operations. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the IEDs have been used by criminals to destroy critical infrastructure and installations.
There are more than 40 regional and national terrorist networks using IEDs to carry out their actions. In preparation for the 2024 Presidential Communication Command and Control Center, the National Counter-Terrorism Center is coordinating a counter-improvised explosive device training for security agencies to enhance effective rapid response during national crisis situations.
It is also planned to test the participants' command and control structures and to ensure that decision-making processes are clear, swift, and efficient. We look forward to seeing how you foster rapid response to countering improvised explosive devices.
Threats posed by IED are further compounded based on the fact that the items used for the illegal manufacturing of the device are cheap and easily accessible.
We found out that the insurgents were using urea to produce IEDs. So the Office of National Security Advisor restricted the movement of urea to the northeastern part of the country.
The training is to also enhance a unified response and develop the capacity of personnel to detect and diffuse IEDs with speed and precision. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The House Committee on Housing and Habitat is urging the federal government to take quick action to revitalize the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria through its various intervention schemes. This is aimed at improving the bank's capacity for providing adequate, affordable and sustainable housing for Nigerians. This was at an oversight visit to the bank's operations in Abuja. Bosade Abel Amosu reports.
This oversight visit was an avenue for the bank to table major challenges on the need for recapitalization, resolution on the single obligor limits, and review of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and National Housing Fund Scheme Acts in order to address housing deficits. The engagement also reviewed the activities of the bank and its prospects to providing sustainable housing solutions.
An assumption of office of this management, a lot of engagement has gone on, and we believe that we have been able to overcome some of those challenges, and with the support of the current National Assembly, we believe that those bills will be represented and they will be passed.
In response, the lawmakers assured a review of the legislation establishing the bank with a view to enabling effective service delivery.
One of the reasons why we came here, we actually thought that the Federal Mortgage Bank is a key beneficiary of some of the interventions that are going on, only for us to realize that a lot of such interventions are not domiciled here. So as well as a committee, we've taken a position, we'll make a presentation to the federal government to ensure that any intervention that will come, a special component is put aside to be able to be extended to the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
In alignment with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's objective to Nigeria's housing deficits, the bank says it is hopeful the outcome of the engagement will make great impact and help low-income earners access affordable housing. In Abuja, Bosede Abel Amosu, NTA News.
Now time to join Adiola in Lagos for more on the network news. Good evening, Adiola.
Thank you, Olajide. The Nigerian Army is increasing the capacity of its workforce through the 2024 2nd Regimental Sergeant Majors RSMs conventions holding in Lagos as a means of fortification against contemporary security challenges. Olumide Guntola witnessed the opening ceremony.
With the theme, fostering improved discipline and regimentation in the Nigerian Army for enhanced capacity to accomplish constitutional responsibilities within a joint environment, the Army is taking steps to combat contemporary security challenges confronting African countries, including Nigeria. Representative of the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Philip Eromosele, the Corps Commander Engineers Nigerian Army, charged the RSMs to utilize the knowledge-based skills and capacity derivable from the convention, which is in line with international best practices.
It's one of the routine activities aimed at capacity development of a very important cadre we call the Regimental Sergeant Major. They should have the capacity to discharge their responsibility.
The Chief of Administration Army assured all stakeholders that at the end of the convention, the Nigerian Army will be better positioned.
The convention will therefore afford participants the opportunity to appraise discipline and other challenges in the Nigerian Army.
The convention will, among other benefits, empower the Nigerian Army to be more professional in the discharge of its duties and in tackling internal security, counter-terrorism, as well as counter-insurgency. In Lagos, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. The network news will continue with Olajide after this break.
Ambition. We talk business. The Nigerian Senate has been asked to uphold the principles of Nigeria's pension reform, which offers a balanced approach to achieving pension adequacy, affordability, and sustainability. This was at a public hearing on the bill seeking to exit the Nigerian police force from the contributory pension scheme.
We support the amendment establishment of the bill to take us out of the contributory pension.
I support my police take their own.
Pension has three fundamentals. It has to be affordable, it has to be sustainable, and it has to be adequate. The old pension schemes that this bill is trying to introduce for the Nigerian police has shattered all of these three.
We are here to align ourselves with the submission that is going to be presented by the National Pension Commission.
The bank will be supporting anything that will aid financial system stability and will not be supporting anything that's on the contrary.
It's our duty to ensure that they are taken care of, not just during their active service, but also in their retirement.
And our key goal is to ensure that all pensioners are paid on time, all pensioners have a living pension. It is not really the CPS that is the problem of the police, it is welfare. So what we've said is if your salary is small, your pensions will be small. So we do understand what the police are agitating for. They need their pensions to be higher. And most people want their pensions to be higher, but it's not leaving the scheme that is going to solve the problem.
These stakeholders also believe that measures such as increasing pension contribution rates, offering additional retirement benefits, and implementing periodic pension reviews under the existing contributory pension scheme framework are better solutions to enhancing the financial well-being of retired police personnel without compromising fiscal discipline. And now look at the Nigerian market. The Nigerian stock market sustained its bullish run at the close of trading on Tuesday, building on the gains recorded on Monday due to some sustained investors' interest in some stocks. As we can see, the number of deals at this point from 9,004 deals, we have an upward review of 9,187 at this point. Talking about volume, we have also an increase. Okay, it's only in volume that we have a decrease at this point from 413 million to 333 million. Looking at the value of stocks, yesterday was 5.3 billion. Now we have 4.421 billion, and the equity capitalization is capped at 59.3 trillion, taking our all-share index today from 97,236.19 basis points to 97,972.33 basis points. Now, looking at the top trades at this point in time, you agree with me that investors gained 136.38 billion naira. The market breadth closed positive with 34 gainers against 22 losers, and equities like 62 equities remain unchanged, with Access Core topping the chart with 37.8 million, Jopo Gold 26.4 million, and Chams 23.6 million. That is it on business, but network news continues after this break. Do stay with us.
Nigeria is taking major strides in enhancing its healthcare system, particularly in maternal and child health. The 65th National Council on Health, holding in Maiduguri, Borno State, highlights the importance of developing and maintaining a skilled workforce and implementing effective health policies to achieve this. Tina Tolo has the details.
The 65th National Council on Health teamed accelerating pathways to universal health coverage strategies for 2030 success brought together key stakeholders from federal and state governments as well as development partners to foster collaboration and decision-making aimed at strengthening the healthcare sector.
We need a health system that is accessible, that is transformational, that can change the lives of Nigerians.
Borno State Commissioner for Health, Professor Baba Malamgana, thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the political will and Federal Ministry of Health for choosing Borno State to host the critical gathering, stressing its importance for effective policy implementation.
This year's council meeting provides an unparalleled opportunity to align our collective strategies, build synergies, and reaffirm our commitment to delivering equitable and quality healthcare to every Nigerian.
In a paper presentation, Chairman of the National Medical Association, Professor Bala Muhammad Audu, emphasized the need for quality healthcare delivery in maternal and child health and skilled postnatal care.
Specialized nurses and midwives are critical to what we do and what we train for our tertiary healthcare delivery.
The Council stressed the importance of effective policy implementation and a unified approach to improving maternal and child health across Nigeria. The issue of health personnel leaving the country due to low financing was also addressed. The National Council on Health, which serves as the apex body for formulating, coordinating, and implementing health policies across Nigeria, had UNICEF's support towards promoting the rights of children and improving healthcare outcomes. In Maiduguri, Tina Turu, NTA News.
On the way from health presentation, Governor Mohammed Inouye Yahya of Gombe State has presented the 2025 budget proposal of over 300 billion naira to the State House of Assembly, tagged budget of commitment and resilience. The proposal is believed to be in conformity with the 10-year development plan of the state. Abasmi Kano reports.
The 320 billion 110 million naira budget proposal presented to the state lawmakers will focus on infrastructure, health and educational development. Over 209 billion naira is allocated to capital expenditure, while 111 billion naira goes to recurrent expenditure, representing 65.3% and 24.4% respectively.
It reflects our commitment to fostering growth, providing opportunities, and addressing pressing challenges in key sectors of the economy.
Other key allocations in the document include 85 billion naira for works and transport, 19 billion naira for water and environmental protection, while 12 billion naira is earmarked for agriculture and animal husbandry. According to the budget estimate, social sector and healthcare services are to receive 32 billion naira each.
We are going to appropriate this very important budget document in good time so as to enable you implement all the laudable developmental policies and programs contained therein.
The budget proposal also prioritizes other key areas such as trade and investment, land and survey, youth and women development, information, law and justice, among other areas. In Gombe, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
And away from budget presentation, an annual engagement with local and internationally renowned Islamic scholars has ended in Abuja. It provided practical and faith-based strategies empowering Nigerians navigate socio-economic challenges with resilience and purpose in their personal, professional and community lives. Tokwe Alabi reports that this year's convergence had experts and scholars including Sheikh Mufti Ismail Monk.
This year's One Ummah Peace and Unity Convention focuses on resilience, the role of faith in handling contemporary challenges, with mental health, business, career and general issues forming the crux of conversations by the Islamic scholars and experts.
Beware, there are consequences. Many of us are not going through trials from Allah. We're only going through the consequences of our weaknesses.
You are not dressed properly and you're telling your daughter, dress properly. It's not going to happen. Why? You need to first dress properly without telling your daughter she will want to dress like you.
Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not grant you success, you would never ever be able to acquire success in your business. So beware of pride.
It is very rare that we'll talk about marriage, that the conversation will not start tilting towards women are suffering and men are suffering them. Iblis is our problem though.
It's so important that we work as hard as we can to transform ourselves to be better than who we are today.
We must learn to unite because, like they say, together we're stronger.
This year's Unity and Peace Convention is deepening strategies for understanding and overcoming challenges while allowing people to discover themselves to find solace and strength. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
The G20 leaders have backed a comprehensive ceasefire in Gaza and Lebanon, which welcomed all constructive initiatives to end the Ukraine war and achieve durable peace. The leaders expressed deep concerns about the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the besieged Palestinian coastal enclave. Francis Dodger has this story and more on Global Update.
The G20 leaders, in a joint declaration after their meeting in the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro, extended their united support to a ceasefire in Gaza as well as in Lebanon, and just as the Russia-Ukraine war surpassed 1,000 days since February 2022. The G20 leaders highlighted the war on global food and energy security, supply chains, macro-financial stability, inflation, and growth. Meanwhile, Rwanda forces in Mozambique have played an important role in holding back the insurgency for 3 years in a region where fighting has delayed a liquefied natural gas export project. Joseph Borrell, Vice President of the EU Commission, described the funding of £20 million to Rwanda's defense force as a testimony of the EU's support to solutions for Africa's problem. In another development, Somaliland's opposition leader Abdrahman Chiro has defeated incumbent President Muse Bihi Abdi in the country's presidential polls held last week. The Electoral Commission said the leader of the opposition, Wadani Party, Abdrahman Chiro, seeking a second term, won 35% of the total votes cast. This set a leadership change as the breakaway Somali region pushes for global recognition. Francis Udojo, NT News.
All right, Badi Adele, you have the floor for Sport Update.
Many thanks, Olajide. Now let's begin with this one. As IMG, NTA, will be telling the story of football beyond the 90 minutes. And of course, that has been described as a means for sports analysts to digest contemporary issues and promote the growth of the round leather game in Nigeria. This came to light when the delegation from the International Management Group, London, paid a visit to NTA management. Yusuf Jika tells us more.
Football has grown beyond borders and formed a universal belief system with enormous advantages. And to tell the story of Nigeria's football industry effectively, informed this gathering by the International Management Group, London.
We're here to enlist the support of NTA as a national broadcaster in terms of the storytelling about Nigerian football.
We believe if the football is done very well, then all other sports would align and everything will work for our sports industry. So we have international partners like from IMG. They have the best experience in the world. So they are here in Nigeria to explore how they could be able to work together and create that project.
The Director General NTA, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, assured the delegation of a robust collaboration with NTA's wider reach and human resources.
Our league, deserves so much, and I think with this partnership with the group, I think we're going to see better football in this country.
This exchange of banters is a reminder that the DOR are now ready to explore the new relationship for the mutual benefit of the two organizations. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Now to women's football, Edo Queens' hopes of becoming the first Nigerian side to lift the CAF Women's Champions League were dashed on Tuesday evening following their 3-1 defeat to TP Mazembe of Democratic Republic of Congo in the semi-final. The Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership champions surrendered a goal lead late in the game and were blown apart with 2 more goals in extra time by the Congolese at the Stade Labizaouli in Casablanca, Morocco. Edo Queens will now play the 3rd-place match against Egypt's FC Masar. To a bit of tennis now, Rafael Nadal suffered defeat to Baltic van der Zandschulp in the Davis Cup's final, and that could have been his last match. And of course, van der Zandschulp is to a 6-4 win to put the Netherlands 1-0 up ahead in their quarter-final tie against Spain. The 38-year-old is retiring from professional tennis after the team event in Malaga, and he will not get to play again if Spain lose the second singles rubber later. And that will be a bit on Sports Update. Let's now return to Olajide for the continuation of Network News.
Many thanks, Buddy. And moving on, the family has announced burial arrangements for their late father and grandfather, late Sir Guardian Chukwuemeka Oranika, a former permanent secretary at the State House, Abuja. 889, his funeral program commences with night of tribute on Wednesday, 20th November at National Ecumenical Center. Requiem Mass holds on 22nd November at Church of the Assumption of Socorro, and funeral mass with interment to hold on 5th December at Christ the King Church in Demili, North Anambra State. He is survived by his wife, Dr. Mrs. Josephine Oranika. And a tribute to Joy Osuagu is next.
We have lost a rare gem. Join us for a night of tributes in honor of our dear colleague, Joy Osuagu.
I am Joy Osuagu. Read it.
On Wednesday, November 20, 2024, at the NTA Arena, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. Time is 5 p.m.
And that concludes the network news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.